It's been 15 years since GSC Game World has given us a new Stalker experience. Let's take a deeper dive into their latest game, Stalker 2, Heart of Chornobyl, and see if they've delivered another impressive survival horror first-person shooter, or is it an experience that leaves you feeling rather mid? At E3 2003, amidst all of the hype for the upcoming Half-Life 2, Doom 3, and Halo 2, GSC Game World, a small Ukrainian game studio, quietly debuted some impressive footage for their survival first-person shooter, Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl. Dubbed by game magazines at the time as the Russian Half-Life, the footage shown at E3 2003 featured a dynamic lighting engine that displayed some impressive shadows and an intriguing horror plotline that featured a heavy focus on survival. A few years of delays later, by the time Stalker reached US shelves in 2007, it was completely overshadowed by the likes of Halo 3 and the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare. The story, set in the Ukraine, was inspired by Russian novelist Boris Strugatsky's short story Roadside Picnic and the Soviet-era filmmaker Andrei Tarkovsky's legendary 1979 film Stalker. The game takes place in an alternate reality where a second disaster of mysterious origin occurred at the Chernobyl exclusion zone, which causes strange and sometimes deadly changes to the area around it. In the first game, Shadow of Chernobyl, you play as S.T.A.L.K.E.R, one of the many explorers and scavengers known as Stalkers that operate within the zone. Extraterrestrial and otherworldly events take place, and the game soon has you facing off against human factions that seek to control the zone, as well as all manner of mutant horrors. 2 words: pseudo-pig. The game was very well received, though not as much praise was given to its derivative 2008 prequel, Stalker Clear Sky, which sees you take on the role of S.T.A.L.K.E.R, a mercenary tasked with stopping a small group of stalkers from reaching the center of the zone. This game, however, did introduce new features to the series, such as the ability to customize weapon and armor, as well as participate in faction wars. Stalker Call of Pripyat was the final release in the original trilogy, which debuted in 2009 and took place immediately after the events of the original Stalker, and saw the player take control of Major Alexander Degtyarev, an experienced stalker and SBU agent that is sent into the zone to investigate the crash sites from the first game on behalf of the Army. Call of Pripyat ended things on a relative high note for the franchise and then disappeared for the next 15 years. Which brings us to Stalker 2. Earlier this year, the entire Stalker trilogy was finally ported to Xbox Series X as a lead-in to the 4th game in the franchise, Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl. Originally announced in 2012 for a 2013 release, GSC Game World was forced to cancel the title. In 2018, the game was resurrected originally around Unreal Engine 5, before the war in Ukraine tragically forced cutbacks and shifted the game to be developed for Unreal Engine 4 instead.
I won't let you push it down the shit.
Given the circumstances, the fact that GSC Game World was able to release a completed game in any form is incredible, as they were forced to relocate their entire studio during the final development cycle of the game. Stalker 2 is a testament to their heart and dedication to gaming. We here at The One want to give a shout out to everyone involved in the development of this title.
Who do you think you're talking to, huh?
In Heart of Chornobyl, you play as Skiff, a stalker tasked with infiltrating the exclusion zone. Like every stalker before, the entire game takes place in and around these zones where physics can change dramatically and at a moment's notice, and things can go from quiet to deadly in a matter of seconds. One of the most enjoyable aspects of Stalker 2 is the varied approach to combat and exploration, which allows the player to experience a unique playthrough each time around. The key to making it out alive, like any good survival horror game, is resource management. As you continue your journey, you'll need to remember to store items for later, as well as deciding which items and which ammo types that you'll need to keep handy. While the menu screens are a bit, shall we say, old school, I found no difficulty in navigating them. Throughout the grim story, you'll meet plenty of NPCs to chat and engage with, and in some cases flee from, and everything is presented in a very convincing and lifelike manner. In Stalker 2, you'll find an engaging story and a wasteland to explore that is equal parts devastated and starkly beautiful. I found myself admiring the charred landscapes, and even the nastier creatures have a kind of horrific beauty to them. We spent roughly 4 hours with the current build of Stalker 2, including the Day 1 patch, which is why we were a bit surprised with what we encountered during our playthrough. We played Heart of Chornobyl on a custom gaming PC with an AMD Ryzen 7800 X3D CPU, running the game on an AMD Radeon 7900 XTX GPU. So we were surprised when the game frequently struggled to maintain 60 frames per second. We also didn't expect to find so many clipping issues, along with a significant amount of pop-in, sometimes at the most unintentionally hilarious moments. While these glitches don't exactly break the game, the staggering frame rate and clunky controls, along with some unfortunate audio issues, combined to make the game feel a bit unfinished.
I knew you could do it. Well, okay, I didn't really know, but I sure hoped you would.
Ultimately, everyone at The One agrees that Stalker 2 looks and plays like a 6-year-old game. Nothing about the graphics pushed the FPS genre forward, and the story feels like a less engaging version of the games from the Metro franchise. Ironic, considering that half of the team that worked on the first Metro 2033 were formed out of the core team that released the original Stalker in 2007. Heart of Chornobyl is not a failure. However, it doesn't live up to what we've come to expect from the best of this unique survival horror FPS world.
And who the fuck are you?
That doesn't mean that we at The One are not giving a recommendation to Stalker 2: Heart of Chornobyl. This is still a unique experience unlike any other, with a rich, varied world, an engaging story, and gameplay that provides quite a challenge. We have no doubt that GSC Game World will continue to patch the game and fix the remaining visual and audio glitches. We only wish that the story had been a bit deeper, the gameplay more intuitive, and that the graphics didn't look like they belonged on outdated hardware.
And what do we have a decade later?
7.5 out of 10.
An achievement comparable at best to the conquest of space.
Let me tell you what you are missing, Dr. Jones.
Dust off those hats and bullwhips as we bring you our next game review, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, coming out on PC and Xbox Series X. Look forward to seeing it the week of December 12th. The One is a new YouTube experience that we are launching, committed to bringing you the best in game, film, and music entertainment. We look forward to growing our subscriber base and seeing what the future has in store.
Be careful out there, stalkers, and remember, if it's worth a click, it's The One.